not attempt to adjust your device screen. We are in control of the broadcast. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. The time has come. Please stand by for a live transmission from Halloween Daily News. All right. Yes. Light up those pumpkins, everybody. You know what time it is. And it is Monday night. Let's see who else is awake and alive out there tonight. Hello, Haddonfield, and happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. Welcome to it. If you're new here, my name is Matt. We are Halloween Daily News, and this shindig of shape shenanigans that you just stumbled into the middle of is what we like to call Michael Myers Monday Live. And that brings me to our returning friends. What's up, everybody? I see everybody lighting up their pumpkins in the live chat already. All of our Triple M crew up in the house. So again, if you're new here, thanks for hanging out. I hope you'll stay for a while and participate in the live chat. And to everybody else, all the crew, what's up, y'all? It's been a few minutes since the last time we did this. I just had to check. It's been 5 long weeks. It was the first Monday in Michael Myers March when we did our last live stream, and here we are now, a whole month later, first Monday in April 2025. What's up, everybody? We're here. We made it. We made it through another week, another Monday, and a whole another month, a whole another Michael Myers month. But we're here. We're live. We're kicking. We survived. And that is reason to celebrate, right, everybody? Happy Michael Myers Monday, crew. We are celebrating tonight, as we do every Monday, the shape and all things Michael Myers and Halloween franchise. And I see we've already got our first super chat of the evening. Before I could even say things like super chats are open, Protect Safes hooking it up tonight, getting us going with a $2 $1.99 super chat. Happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Thank you for being here. We also, in addition to having super chats open, of course, we memberships are open as well. And I see a few of our illustrious members already mingling in the live chat. Blake has just checked in, and Pat Ring, that Halloween movie collector, is in the house tonight. I love it. Glancing up, got a few other friends in the house early. Dave Sewer, Megan Wagner. What's up, y'all? Rob has checked in. Rob Windsor. Ginny is in the house. Awesome. Al is here. Excellent. Got a good crew up in here. Protect Safes. Blake is here. Saint 318, one of our newest illustrious channel members. Welcome and happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Raise your beverage of choice. Let's toast our newest member here on Triple M. Saint is new to the Triple M and the Halloween Daily community. We appreciate you being here. I'm drinking my hot tea again tonight to soothe my throat so I can talk into the wee hours with y'all. It's been a long day. We're not going to go into too wee of the hours. Don't worry. But let's see. Al is checked in. Tim Leo is also in the house. Awesome. I see. Oh, Brett Patrick, another illustrious channel member, has checked in. Excellent. Welcome. Good to see everybody here tonight. Should have a fun one for you guys. Like I said, it's been a few minutes, so most of all, I'm just excited to be here and hang out with y'all and to commune with the like-minded here as we do. And you know how it goes. I do have a few little news bites that we can chew on this evening. And but the main course of our feast tonight is going to be a discussion that I've been teasing in previous episodes and wanted to do for a long time, really, and we're finally going to do it tonight. We're going to focus on Michael Myers and Halloween franchise references on TV shows and streaming series throughout the years. And of course, I've rounded up a few of my personal favorites there that we're going to showcase, and then we're going to open it up for discussion and open up a poll and all that good stuff. And we'll do some shout outs at some point tonight as well, and maybe a few other surprises, maybe a flashback clip here or there from one of our interviews or two. So that's what you have to look forward to here on Michael Myers Monday live tonight. Like I said, it's been 5 weeks, a whole month since our last live stream, and a lot's been going on here at HDN, a lot just behind the scenes stuff going on. If you follow us on our socials, you've seen we've been talking a lot about the resurrection of our independent Halloween Film Festival happening here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina this October, first weekend of October. You can learn all about that at HalloweenDailyNews.com anytime. If you're going to be in the area or around, or those of you that live out here on the East Coast near us, anywhere near northeastern North Carolina, you definitely want to save the dates and make plans to join us October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Lots of cool stuff is going to be going on here for the Halloween International Film Festival, resurrected in 2025. That's right. Alive in 2025. And yes, I'm going to be talking a lot about that here in the next, well, for the rest of this year, really, until it gets here, because that's a huge project that we're undertaking, and it's going to be bigger and better than it ever was in our first 5 years. And we've got a kick-ass, awesome new venue, which actually is one of the most historic movie theaters in the whole country, one of the oldest in the whole country. It opened in 1934 in its current location, but it actually goes back to 1918, showing silent films in its original location. So one of the oldest theaters in America, and we're going to be there. It's called the Pioneer Theater in Mania, North Carolina. Anyway, you're going to hear us talking lots more about that. And if you're an independent filmmaker or know any independent filmmakers that have a cool horror film or Halloween themed project, they don't have to be necessarily Halloween themed. They don't even necessarily have to be horror, but most of the submissions and selected films that we screen are. Let them know. We're taking submissions right now. I'm going to be taking them all summer till the end of July. All right. And again, you can learn all about that at HalloweenDailyNews.com anytime. You can get the direct info on the festival at HalloweenDailyNews.com/film festival. Also want to let you guys know the Triple M exclusive sale on all of our in-stock merch. It's just for you guys and anybody that watches this live stream on a replay, I guess. But it's a 15% off anything in stock in our online store at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop, and all you got to do is enter discount code MMM15. That's triple M15, and that's I don't talk about that anywhere else on any of the socials. We don't do discounts that big usually, but that's just for you guys, Triple M. And it probably won't stay on there forever, but for now, for the next week at least. So take advantage of that. If there's anything, we still got the recent trilogy of Michael Myers masks in stock, a bunch of them. We got a bunch of scare fresheners and wall decor, that awesome vintage wall decor, all that cool stuff. So check all that out. Rob says Halloween Kills is on Sci-Fi right now. That's cool. David says, how about that new NECA H6 curse figure? It's awesome. Yes, sir. Yeah, it looks really, really awesome. NECA always killing it, and I want to see if they're going to do more, like because they seem to say when they were interviewed at Toy Fair and they unveiled that H6, they definitely said that there was going to be more from the Halloween franchise coming, and really seemed to say that they were going to like close out the franchise, like make ultimate figures of all the movies that they haven't yet. Is what they were. It seemed to say that they were saying without directly saying when I listened. So I'm even more excited about what else might be coming in that same license. But yes, the H6 figure from NECA looks badass for sure. What's up, Byron Weaver? Checking in. Happy Michael Myers Monday. I see you have just checked in this evening as well. Byron, another part of the Triple M crew here. I love to see it. Awesome. All right. Well, I see Jenny already mentioned it in the live chat, and we'll go ahead and dive into our first little news bite of the night. And it shouldn't come as any surprise. It was really all over the news late last week, and rightfully so, I have to say. And like Jenny just said in the live chat, what took so long, right? But rightfully so, the man, the myth, the legend, John Carpenter was recognized just recently with getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. And here you go. It happened just a few days ago as we were recording this, and Carpenter was there with his wife Sandy, of course. Kurt Russell was there. Keith David was there. A lot of Haddonfield alums were there, and it was awesome. The whole event was live streamed online, which was very cool, so we could hear all of the speeches. I'll link it down in the description of this video, so you can check it out if you haven't already. And I did appreciate that, being able to sit in my living room and drink some coffee and watch the whole ceremony. And Carpenter's comments when he accepted, if you missed it, it's pretty typical Carpenter and awesome. um, uh, yeah, it was basically to the effect of thank you for giving me the star, so that now animals and humans can pee on me anytime they want. And yeah, only John Carpenter, right? Here are some official photos posted on the Walk of Fame's induction or Instagram account. And there he is. There's the man. And yeah, I was hoping Kurt would be there. Kurt Russell, of course, they've done 5 films together. And so I was thrilled to see him there. There you see on the left, Greg Nicotero. He gave a great speech as well. And of course, Keith David. Nicotero joked about maybe today we'll finally find out who really was the thing at the end of the thing. Just really cool stuff. And yeah, I mean, needless to say, totally overdue. I think we can all agree on that. Like, what took so long? But but as just a massive John Carpenter fan, I love seeing it. And here, PJ Souls shared this great image of some folks you guys will all recognize. Of course, some of the OG original Haddonfield residents. There, from left, we've got, of course, Nancy Loomis uh, and PJ Souls there in the center, and of course, Mr. Nick Castle. So cool to see that they were there as well. In addition to Kurt Russell, I know Adrian Barbeau was there. Um, just really cool celebration of the man, the myth, the legend. And here's Greg Nicotero's post, and I just thought it was really cool what he said here. He posted a somewhat lengthy uh, statement here with this photo here on his Instagram. Greg Nicotero says, quote, okay, so I haven't posted in a while, like a long time, but the experience I had on Thursday, that was Thursday, April 3rd, sharing the stage with John Carpenter as he received a star on The Walk of Fame is something that I'll never forget. I was honored to be asked to speak on John's behalf, and the entire day just spoke to the 15-year-old version of me who looked up to and still looks up to this amazing filmmaker. Not only did I get a chance to celebrate him with old friends, Keith David and Kurt Russell, but to reconnect with Clea Duvall, Adrian Barbeau, and many of John's crew members left me not wanting to leave. The rest of the day, I sort of found myself walking around on cloud nine, having experienced such an amazing celebration. I've been seeing John's movies since I was a young man, and at one point during the day, I leaned over to him and said, "We haven't been friends. We've been friends for 32 years." And he looked at me and asked, "Why would you say that?" "Because we're old." And I said, "Because I'm really proud that our friendship has endured for so long. It makes me realize that our industry is about people, the people that you collaborate with, the people that you can't work without, and I'm forever grateful." And he says, on a silly note, I put Easter eggs on the back of my cards from They Live and ended my speech with, "Now maybe we can find out who really was the thing." End quote. Clearly, the moment was not lost on the great Greg Nicotero, effects master in his own right, and he was found himself geeking out a little bit. And yeah, I mean, really cool to see, of course, Kurt and Keith David there, as he said, and as we saw, PJ and Nancy and Nick. Dean Cundy was there as well. We saw in the audience, like we said, Adrian Barbeau. So just really cool to see. And again, I will put that link to that ceremony in the description down here if you haven't seen it. So when we're done here, or whenever you get a chance, you can check it out. It's awesome. You should check it out. And again, just the best part is Carpenter's just so Carpenter-esque. Speech at the end. I loved it. Yes, Brett says he wanted out of there quickly. Yeah, he did. Yeah, JLC must have been filming. Yeah, I was thinking they might have Jamie Lee Curtis. Um, I mean, I'm sure if she was in town and available, she would have done it. But yeah, I'm really glad that Kurt was able to do it. Um, and I thought Kurt's speech too was really good and just really genuine, because I mean we all know those guys are true buddies in like real life, and yeah, I just think um, Kurt's speech was awesome. Brett says Shutter is now streaming Halloween 6, H2O, and Resurrection. Yes, I did see that they were adding them this month in April, part of their halfway to Halloween announcement for this year. That's cool. Yes, yes. Carpenter spoke longer at age 45 than he did at this ceremony. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right, Saint. Definitely long overdue. All right, we do have just a few other little news bites before we get into our larger discussion. And next up, again, not directly involving the franchise, but involving some Halloween franchise royalty. If ever there was Halloween franchise royalty, people throw around Scream Queens. I mean, they're definitely Scream Queens in the horror genre, but absolutely in the Haddonfield Michael Myers Halloween realm of horror. And I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about. But we finally got some details and an official announcement on the upcoming feature film from our friends Scout and Danielle. Of course, Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris. And we've talked about this on previous editions, previous transmissions when that they were filming, and we talked about that they were filming and prior to filming, and that this was happening, and but we didn't really have any plot details, and we didn't even really have any details at all other than they were had co-written and were co-directing this film and were co-starring in it. So since our last uh, gathering here on a Monday night, um, we did get the official announcement and the first details. And the name of the film is Last Chance Motel, and most exciting is it's a horror movie. And the first plot details state that the film follows a newlywed couple whose dream wedding spirals into a bloody nightmare when they uncover that their secluded venue, a desolated motel in the Nevada desert, is run by a relentless, bloodthirsty family with dark secrets, revealing that one bride's future may not be all that it was promised to be. And there they are in a newly released image as the filmmakers that they are. And again, it's called Last Chance Motel. They co-created the story, they co-directed the project, and they also lead the cast along with Shane West from a Walk to Remember, and horror icon Heather Langenkamp, of course, from the Elm Street franchise. And check this out, Monica Keena, who why have we not seen more of her over the years? She was great, I thought, in Freddy vs. Jason. She was great in the Night of the Demons remake, two of my favorites. But she's in this film as well. Rounding out the cast, Sierra McCormick and Zachary Ruzin. And no word yet on a release date, but again, now we at least have some plot details. It is horror, and the whole newlywed aspect, and a stranded at a hotel, a motel, um, that definitely has my interest peaked. Obviously, we're fans, and like to think of Scout and Danielle both as friends of the brand, so to say, as we like to say, and we've had them both here, and hope to have them back to talk about this project. And I want to see what they co-created. I'm very curious. I mean, that plot sounds interesting enough, and the fact that it's the horror genre, definitely is a plus. And it also reminded me, I don't know if you guys have seen Danielle's previous directorial feature film Among Friends that came out a while back. Um, Gosh, it's probably been 15 years, close to it now. Um, but that's again a horror movie, and definitely worth checking out if you've never seen it. I recommend it. Um, but it reminded me that that one I definitely should have been part of our previous discussion on. Tonight we're doing Michael Myers TV references. When we were doing Michael Myers movie references and non Michael Myers and non Halloween movies, one of the best, and again, that's why I said, just like tonight, those we talked about are not necessarily my favorites. They're not necessarily ranked. They're just definitely some of the best, some of my favorites. But this is one of my favorites too. Danielle has one of the best Halloween franchise references in any non-Halloween franchise movie in her film Among Friends. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it right now. So if you want to watch it fresh, just mute for about 60 seconds. But the scene in question is she reprises Jamie Lloyd. Now it's kind of a dream scenario in the film, so but she's in the clown costume, and not only that, she's at one point she's actually saying dialogue from Halloween 4, like calling out for Rachel. And to top it off, our friend Eric Preston, young Michael Myers from Halloween 4, is in that same scene with her. He worked on the movie too. It's awesome, and it should have been mentioned during that discussion when we were talking about all those other references, because that's another like a deep cut, but just such a cool one, I think, for us fans. So, and I got thinking about Among Friends because I was thinking about what their directorial style combined may be, and I can't wait to see. So. You guys give me your thoughts on that. Are you looking forward to seeing this film from these former Haddonfield residents? And we do have another, this one not so recent, but since our last live stream, again, it's been a month, but I hope you had a chance to check out my interview. Well, we dropped a lot that I hope you checked out. But my interview with Mr. Miles Robbins, he of course played Dave in Halloween 2018. You remember Vicky and Dave, and I got to speak to Miles for a few minutes with Shao Nago, who is the director of the film Control Freak. It's on Hulu right now, and it's a horror movie, and it stars Kelly Marie Tran from Star Wars movies and Miles, their husband and wife in the film. And again, it was a junket interview. I only had a few minutes with the two of them at the same time, so we didn't get to really talk much Michael Myers because that's not what we're there for, and we didn't really get to talk much Halloween holiday even. But I did take the opportunity to get just a little bit of shape worked into the conversation. And I'm going to play you that clip right now. Um, Again, this is my interview with Miles Robbins and Shaun Go from just a few weeks ago. And well, you'll see what the question is. Check it out. Having killers, obviously, once upon a time.
Sure.
I think our audience would want us to ask, had to pick one, who's scarier, Michael Myers or Kelly as Val, and maybe around Act 3 of this film?
Ooh, that's a good question. Michael Myers is taller, but I think that Kelly's character in this film has something a little more insidious in that you wouldn't know. She's not the face of evil, right? She's the face of wellness. So I think that there's something kind of that much scarier about something which we do see growing in our modern world, which is this kind of toxic wellness. These, people who would assert that you'd have to cut your own head off to be well, and have a certain commitment to their vision of what wellness is that leaves people, let's say, uh, being infected by diseases which we had eradicated so many years ago because of a new form of wellness that they've invented in their mind. I think that that is quite a real life terror that we are seeing. So I think that um, it's like that more abstract horror or a guy with a knife. That's up to you.
All right. Again, check out the full interview if you haven't already, and all of the other recent interviews that we've shared here in the last few weeks since our last live stream. There's been quite a few that I'm pretty proud of. Most recently, Mr. Alec Gillis stopped by HDN and we had an awesome conversation. If you don't know, he is a legendary makeup effects artist who's been in the business for like more than 40 years. And he talked about getting his start on Roger Corman films. And I asked him specifically about the 1986 Halloween heavy metal horror classic Trick or Treat. Excuse me. And we talked about that. He shared a fun story from the set of Pumpkinhead. He's worked on everything with James Cameron on Aliens and most of the other Alien movies since. Most of the Predator movies. He worked on Romulus. He worked on Smile and Smile 2 recently. A lot of like recent stuff that's been making a lot of noise and been really successful. He's had a hand on that. Not to mention just so many classics. Um, Again, that's our most recent interview. If you haven't checked that one out, definitely do that. And for all you Terrifier fans out there, we talked to Catherine Corcoran again recently since our last live stream as well, and it was great to catch up with her and have a whole new conversation there and some other cool stuff that we've shared. Also, just recently, if you're a Stranger Things fan, got to speak to Mr. Finn Wolfhard for a few minutes and told him if they do a sequel to their horror comedy Hell of a Summer, that maybe the next one could be Hell of a Halloween. And they both said that they love Halloween movies and they didn't rule it out. Let's say that. And if you look at their facial expressions when I throw it out there, I think they liked my idea. Maybe it's just me, but I think they did. All right. We are going to get into our main topic tonight now. Regular viewers will recall just um, we recently focused on Michael Myers references in movies that are not Michael Myers or not Halloween franchise movies. And there's tons of them. And so tonight we're going to do a similar look at Michael Myers references, only this time we're going to the smaller screen. That's right. We're going to be talking tonight about Michael Myers references in TV series and shows from the broadcast era, including and up to the streaming era that we're in now. And there's been tons of them over the past 45, 46, 47 years since the original film came out. More than you would think, believe it or not. And it's all kinds of references. And sometimes in dramas, very often in comedies, sometimes it's just a quick shout out uh, in the dialogue. Sometimes it's something visual. Sometimes it's even thematic. But there have been tons of these references, and just like with the Myers and Halloween franchise movie references, I've kind of taken it upon myself to try to catalog as many of these as possible. And we've got a whole section at HalloweenDailyNews.com where we've done articles and featured many of these references over the years. Many of the newer ones, newer meaning since the launch of HDN in 2012, so in the last 13 years. But there are some many great ones that date prior to that, and then many others that we haven't even had a chance to feature on the website or anywhere. So just like with the movie references, I've picked out a few of my personal favorite. I think it's five-ish. I've got here that I'm gonna highlight, and the again, they're not necessarily my top five of all time, but they're definitely worthy, and they're definitely five of my favorites. I'm not going to rank them in any specific order tonight because as soon as we get done, I'll remember another one that, oh man, well that's definitely a top fiver, like with the movie references. But these are definitely some of the coolest and best, and just maybe unexpected or groundbreaking that I've found. And again, this is not in any way an exhaustive list, um, but hopefully this will be, like with the movie references, the beginning of a wider conversation. And all of you guys can tell me ones that you've noticed, or can come back here when you spot other ones, because it happens all the time. You're just watching any random show, and all of a sudden somebody just mentioned Michael Myers. Now, tonight we're going to be talking mainly about, well, how can we say, they're unscripted is the word. There's not really going to be reality shows on here, although I know there's plenty of references there, and there's not really going to be like variety type shows necessarily, such as, you guys know, SNL has featured Michael Myers so many times over the years, and you know, we've featured many of those shout outs here. Um, I'm trying to bring one of them up for you right now so you can see what I'm talking about. But well, I'll get to it eventually. But you've seen, we've focused on those before, and I'm saying that to say that we're not really, um, well, we're not going to be focusing on the those type of references tonight, because honestly that could be its own, really its own thing. Okay, here's the one I was gonna show you, from from this year's Halloween episode of Saturday Night Live. Here, let's pull that up over here. It'll get here eventually. There he is. And Michael has routinely made appearances on SNL and other related variety shows, sketch shows over the years. Um, Michael, of course, has appeared in all types of medium. Talk shows is another big one. He's always appearing on talk shows, whether it's the late night talk shows. Um, I've seen him referenced on daytime talk shows before. I and we've covered some of these. Here's just recently. Um, you might have saw this. Jimmy Kimmel featured Michael Myers. This was after the presidential address a while back, earlier this year. Michael Myers and Darth Vader there in D.C. apparently. So you see the shape appear in all kinds of unlikely places. But for this discussion tonight, I'm going to be talking about um, not those type of appearances, not the talk shows, because there are a ton of them. What we are going to dig into, though, are some of his sitcom appearances and, uh, well, some of his. What would this first one be? What was Knight Rider? An action show? It's not really a drama, is it? I'm talking about the classic 80s TV series Knight Rider. That's right. Knight Rider. And yes, this first reference to the Halloween franchise, just like where we started with the movies, it's actually not a Michael Myers reference, but it is a reference to this franchise and to the most unlikely film in the franchise to be referenced. And it's not even a direct reference, it's just unbelievably cool and crazy that the classic series Knight Rider featured the classic Halloween 3 Silver Shamrock pumpkin mask. Did you guys realize this? It's from a Halloween set episode that premiered in 1984. The name of the episode is Halloween Night. And this is an actual still from the episode. That's the main character, Michael Knight, of course, played by the great David Hasselhoff, wearing a silver shamrock pumpkin mask. And I mean, it's clearly, obviously, the silver shamrock pumpkin mask. I mean, 1984. Yeah, I mean, they were actual Don Post masks that were sold. And after the movie, they would have been more popular. Not as popular as I'm sure Don Post and everybody was thinking and hoping. But here's the wildest part. It's actually got the silver shamrock button on it. Look at that. It's right there. So not only is it the mask, it's like literally a silver shamrock version of that mask, which just makes it so cool. Um, Interesting and very cool side note, this same episode of Knight Rider, Halloween Night, this 1984 Halloween episode, because we love our Halloween episodes in general, our Halloween holiday episodes. Uh, Michael Knight, not only does he wear a silver shamrock mask, he also goes to the Psycho House at a certain point in that same episode too. So definitely seek that out if you're obsessed with just Halloween episodes in general, which I always am, and or H3 references, which again I always am. Um, or if you just love some Knight Rider, which I always do. But what a wild and crazy reference that is. Okay. Let's move a little more modern now into at least this century, but this one does predate the launch of Halloween Daily News itself. We launched here in 2012, and this reference actually predates that and goes all the way back to 2011 and an episode of the long running iconic animated series Family Guy. The name of the episode is Tom Tucker, the Man and His Dream. And here it is. It is without a doubt one of the coolest, funniest, just best references to this franchise in any way, in any medium, and it is hilarious. Um, Seek out the episode. It's streaming on Hulu. If you have Hulu, you could check it out. I just rewatched it earlier today, actually getting ready for this broadcast tonight. And the gist of it is that it is revealed in the early moments of this episode that Tom Tucker, the local newscaster on the show, is in fact George P. Wilbur, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 4. And Peter loses his mind because Halloween 4 is his favorite movie of all time, he declares. and and then insanity ensues. They go to Hollywood. He wants to get Tom back into Hollywood and all this stuff. But it is just, as I've said before, sometimes whether it's a collectible, whether it's a movie reference, whether it's something like this, sometimes the fact that it exists, that it happened, that somebody actually did this, is pretty unbelievable. Forget about the fact that it's marrying such different tones, but I love, of course, most of all, that it's so specifically Halloween 4, so specifically George P. Wilbur, the late great George P. Wilbur. And yes, Tom Morga did play Michael Myers as well in Halloween 4. Not just George P. Wilbur, but gosh, what a love letter to George P. Wilbur. And, I never got to interview him, unfortunately. I did get to meet him a few times, very fortunately, but never got to actually go on the record with him. But this would be something I would have loved to ask him about. Like, did you ever see that episode? Did they ask you about that or anything? I would love to know his thoughts on this. And again, just amazing to me, mostly, but just because it happened, because it exists, and it's just you know just so crazy. And that's oddly not even a Halloween episode of Family Guy. Um, Now let's talk about Stranger Things for a minute, shall we? Because Stranger Things also has referenced Michael Myers on numerous occasions. I always talk about how the Scream movies love the Halloween movies so much. And the Scream TV series as well loves Halloween. They referenced Michael Myers very clearly in the Scream TV series as well. That's right. Remember, kids, Scream was on TV for a little while too. Um, but Stranger Things has referenced Michael Myers in just about every season in some way, I think. In the very first season, they vocally shout out Michael Myers in dialogue one time. I think it's Dustin who says something about Michael Myers at one point. But then in season 2, um, it gets really awesome because when we get the introduction of the character of Max, and she shows up rocking her Michael Myers costume on Halloween night, and scares the main boys from Stranger Things, who are all dressed as Ghostbusters, by the way. Um, it's such an awesome scene, and she shows up wearing this Michael Myers mask, actually a Trick or Treat Studios, which was not historically accurately available in 1983 or whenever this season took place. But it's awesome anyway. She shows up with it. She's got her pumpkin pail in one hand, her knife in the other. She scares the boys, and she has the mask throughout most of the rest of the episode. And they even uh, Funko even made a pop figure of that very scene with Max actually wearing having the Michael Myers mask on her head. I own it. It's upstairs in the living room. If I had been thinking a little more clearly earlier, I would have brought her down here, and now would be a great time to show you that show and tell. But that'll have to wait till next week, if I remember. But of course, Stranger Things was far from done with their Michael Myers shape love, because in the most recent season, season 4, a different character grabbed what is in, according to the show, the same Michael Myers mask. And here's a different character who grabs Max's mask from season 2. So they're referencing their own Michael Myers reference here. This is a reference to the reference of the reference. And of course, I love it. There's another still from that season. Um, I love Stranger Things anyway. As with most of these shows we're going to talk about, Knight Rider, I mean, you name it. But yeah, to see the Myers mask used so funny and effectively, and also to introduce such a cool character as Max in season 2, and then to have them bring it back in season 4, episode 7, by the way, if you're looking for it. Um, yeah, I totally love it. Just the coolest. All right. Now we're going to look at a reference that, again, is actually not a Michael Myers reference at all. That's right. Silver Shamrock has gotten quite a bit of love throughout the years, sometimes in the most unexpected places, too. And actually, these next two both actually tie in with Halloween 3, actually, more than Michael Myers. This first one, I got to bring attention to, because not everybody knows about this show or remembers it or watched it when it was on, but I actually watched it as it was airing, loved every episode, and blew me away. I always recommend it to people. The name of the show is Mr. Robot. And believe it or not, Mr. Robot actually hacked into Silver Shamrock on a pivotal episode. It was actually the season premiere episode of their fourth and final season of Mr. Robot. The show was about hacking. And they actually are typing into a computer, and you can see that he's searching for Silver Shamrock. And you can see that the account name is Silver Shamrock. And then here you can see that the wire was approved by, look at that name, Connell Cochran. What? Now, if you've ever watched Mr. Robot, you might not have even noticed this. I can't even believe that I noticed it when I was watching it, because it's the type thing that it was just on the screen for a few seconds, maybe not even. But I was like, I think that said Silver Shamrock. And sure enough, I went back and I had to do an article about it immediately, of course. But again, just the most unlikely places. Often it's sitcoms and it's jokes, but every type genre, and you never know why it's going to pop up. And that's something I would love to talk to the creator of that show, Sam Ismail, sometime about. What's that all about, man? Was Colin Cochran really behind everything in Mr. Robot? Because in my head canon, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. All right. Yes, I do have another one. This one is the most recent that I'm going to point out tonight, and then we're going to get some comments from you guys. But last year, you might recall there was a really good. Gosh, I mean, it was funny, but it was definitely had serious moments of horror. So it was a horror comedy, but a great series aired on Peacock last year called Hysteria, and I really like this series. Very heavy metal infused. It's about a heavy metal band, um, set in the '80s, and but they actually had some really cool references to to a lot of just '80s um, iconography, but that included some Halloween franchise love. And in the very first episode, in fact, Bruce Campbell's character um, has a fun little scene and bit of dialogue that has to do with Dr. Loomis and references directly the original Halloween. And so as soon as that happened, I'm like, wow, well, the creators of this show are speaking my language right away. Um, Later on in another episode, though, a different character actually references again not just Halloween, not just Loomis or Myers, but Halloween 3 specifically. And I'm just like, this is awesome. um, and again, the show is great all the way around. I thought. I wish they were doing another season, but especially for you heavy metal fans out there, I know there are a few. Definitely recommend it. Great soundtrack. Yeah, it's everything about it's awesome. On a side note, speaking of the soundtrack, because I asked them about the soundtrack when I interviewed the creators of the show. Um, Sidebar, they said the only band that said no to them when they asked was Kiss. So who knew the Knights in Satan's Service were so choosy about what they let people do? That this show was apparently too satanic for them. Um, but yes, I was able to speak to the creators of this show, Hysteria, Matthew Scott Kane and David A. Goodman, last year, and we talked about the heavy metal soundtrack, which I love, and but we also talked a little bit about these what I would call deep cut references. Um, not just the obvious Michael Myers or Halloween rep, but Loomis specifically. Not Halloween 2, maybe the more well known and favorite sequel, but Halloween 3, like that's a deep cut. And even things like Ben Cooper costumes, which of course the 80s was kind of the last gasp of Ben Cooper style costumes before they kind of faded away. Um, so here I'm going to play another flashback video. This is a very short clip, but this is from my interview with the creators of the series Hysteria. And you will hear them. This is David A. Goodman and Matthew Scott Kane, and you'll hear them speak a little bit about their love for Halloween and also Halloween. so many great shout outs to the 80s, including some great Halloween centric stuff like Dr. Loomis, and Halloween 3
Hmm.
even gets a shout out. Even Ben Cooper
Uh-huh.
costumes, which I
Yep.
love. Um,
Yep.
do you guys enjoy Halloween yourself in real life? Do you obviously you seem to have an affinity for it with some of those deep cut references?
Yeah, I think I probably do more than David, if I had to
Oh,
guess.
no, I mean, Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, no question.
Oh, I know.
The Halloween decorations in my house are always this joy that and the scaring the little kids who come to the door now, and then as a kid, dressing up was always so exciting. But go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, more specifically to the Halloween like franchise,
Oh, the
I
franchise.
that
Oh, I'm sorry.
that was no, we're talking about both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I when I was about 4 or 5 years old, my dad had this tradition of every Thursday he would iron his clothes for the week and put a VHS tape on and watch that while he's ironing. This Thursday, I come home from school and he doesn't hear that I'm home, so I'm kind of sneaking through the house and peek my head around the corner, and he's ironing and watching the original Halloween. Mind you, I'm 4 or 5 years old. I just kind of slink into the room and sit behind the couch and watch it from behind the couch, unbeknownst to him, up until the point where Michael pins the guy up to the wall and then does the creepy head tilt look. And I was so scared, I gasped out loud. And my dad looked over and saw me there and just felt like, "Ugh, how long have you been watching?" I said, "Basically from the beginning." He said, "All right, well, then just come on up and finish it." And I came up and sat on the sofa and watched the rest of it. And then it kind of seemed like the floodgates were broken in that moment. Absolutely. I wouldn't have become a horror fan if not for that film.
All right, we are back live here Monday night, April 7th, 2025. Again, if you haven't checked out that full interview with Matthew and David, you can find it at HalloweenDailyNews.com or elsewhere here on this channel, and I will put the link down in the description. Those guys were really awesome to talk to. I was also, if you're a fan of Hysteria and like that show, which I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. But I also, that same junket, I was able to interview Anna Camp and Nikki Hahn, who were both phenomenal in that show. And Anna now is you know, she just got done filming Scream 7, and she's in the new season of You on Netflix. My wife loves that show. So check those out too. If just check them out if you haven't already. But definitely Hysteria. All right. So again, that is certainly not, you know, an exhaustive list, or even, you know, meant to be an exhaustive list by any means as far as references to this franchise. There are so many, and again, we could have so many nights where I feature more and discuss more, and that's why I didn't even want to do like the talk shows or like the SNL type skits, because that could be a whole nother uh, episode, you know, um, and it will be at some point. But I mean, like I said, we featured a number of these on HalloweenDailyNews.com over the years, but even those aren't all of them by any means. Um, Michael is just always popping up. You know, the Goldbergs, Eastbound and Down in the past, Scream Queens, which Jamie Lee Curtis was on, of course. And again, these are just a few of the series that we featured, and there's tons more that we haven't. and tons more that I haven't even seen or cataloged or am not even aware of. So, let us hear from you if there are more and that you know of, and we will add them to the ever growing database and dig into a discussion on them at some point, I'm sure. But um, I mean, Michael was mentioned in an episode of The Flash on the CW at one point. I have notes about Michael being mentioned on an episode of Creep Show. Of course, the All Hallows Eve episode, and I mean, there's just so many more, and it happens all the time. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's um, not, but normally it's meant to get a laugh. Um, but now I turn the discussion over to you. That is, of course, the topic of this week's poll. We want to hear your favorite Michael Myers or Halloween franchise, Silver Shamrock, whatever reference in any show that you've ever seen. And this can be again from the streaming era, from the broadcast era, um, just any series episodes that give the shape a shout out, or a Silver Shamrock shout out, a Shamrock shout out. And I want to hear from you guys here in the live chat tonight and down in the comments. Um, what do you think of these references? How many of them have you seen? Were you aware of all of them before watching this? Did you learn anything? And what are some other ones that you know of and remember? Again, Michael in this franchise, 46, 47 years, a lot of TV episodes have been created in that time. That's time for a lot of mentions. So now I turn it over to you guys, and we're gonna do more of these discussions because just like we did with the movies, like I said, we could do a whole night where it's just the funniest talk show moments or the funniest um, unscripted moments, and we're definitely gonna do one here soon. The next one we do will most likely be on music and songs and Michael Myers and Halloween references in songs. Sometimes just again a quick reference. Sometimes it's the whole subject. So I want to hear from you guys on that. Um, Now, like I said, we did just a few minutes ago launch this week's poll asking your favorite Michael Myers or Halloween franchise references in a TV series. So let's look at the results of our last poll from a month ago, and it was asking the same question but about movies specifically. And you'll remember we talked about a lot of them like Body Bag, Scream, Bride of Chucky, Baby Driver, and many others last week. Well, here are the results of last month's poll. Scream comes out on top. Not dominantly, though. It's only 56%, but Scream takes the win. Bride of Chucky with 22% coming in second place. Very respectable. And Body Bags placing third at 14%. Baby Driver at 9%. Baby Driver is just such a funny one. But there we go. Scream the champ there. Teen Wolf, our own Teen Wolf. Haven't seen Teen Wolf tonight. She says Baby Driver for me because it's become a running gag between me and my friends. Nice. And Jackson Lamar says we all know you put Scream up against any other horror movie because Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream will win. Well, I don't know about Scream will win totally about every other thing, but as far as the Michael Myers love, I always say that no single franchise. I don't know. I mean, if you count Sam Raimi films as a franchise, and the way Sam Raimi and Robert or Wes Craven would often kind of have little Easter eggs to each other's work and their stuff, that's maybe the closest thing to how much Scream has shown love to Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise. But then again, Scream does that to all the franchises, just none as much as the Halloween franchise. So there we go. Hit that poll when you get out of here this evening, and before I get out of here, we are going to do just a few quick shout outs. Just a couple here on this Michael Myers Monday. First up, over from the Gram. Let's jump over there. This one posted by The Shape of Winter. Says, in the shadows, the shape grows stronger. Happy Michael Myers Monday. The Shape of Winter, always posting every week and sharing the Triple M love. We see it. We love it. Also from Instagram today. Somebody else I also see always posting every week, sharing their Wicked cosplay. This is from Lost in the Abyss 13. Very good blue lighting there. Jumping over to the Blue Sky. This one's posted by Andrew at Ways to Die. Did I really need more Halloween merch? Yes. Do I have more? Yes. Happy Michael Myers Monday. And yeah, I need to get this H2 shirt. Got to find out where that one's available. And I think we can all relate to that. And one more. This one over on the TikTok from Johnny Ghoul Bloody at Johnny Ghoul Bloody. He says every day is Halloween, and well, you know, that is our motto around here and our way of life. So can't argue. And here we got Michael rocking out to some Rob Zombie. Saint says, I'm amazed how much Halloween 3 is referenced and loved in TV. I know, right? Yeah, there's another one that was in that that we've done an article on that I didn't even talk about tonight on the Goldbergs, where it's specifically the Halloween 3 Super 7 figures, which again, historically not accurate because they didn't exist, but we'll forgive them. Goldbergs has shown Michael Myers love too. Another great show. But I agree, man. When you start looking at it, it's like, wow, that's really cool that H3's got so much love. Another cool H3 reference that I've featured on the site before. The poster can actually be seen in the background of one episode of Amazing Stories. Remember that Steven Spielberg series from the 80s, going way back? And it's an H3 poster in the very background. Again, if I had all day, every day, I'd do nothing but just watch stuff like that, looking for stuff like that. Because when I do, I mean, it's amazing what you spot sometimes, if especially if you're looking for it. But yeah, just so many are out there that we haven't even found. So if you guys have some on your list, let us hear about them, and we'll include them in the next discussion. That's tonight's show, guys. We're going to wrap it a little bit before midnight this week. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with me. This has been fun. To our illustrious channel members, of course, you guys rock. Thank you so much for the support and helping us keep the lights on around here. People like Brett and Saint, you guys, we so appreciate you. And to all you subscribers, and if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please do. And to protect saves for that super chat, we appreciate that as well. Lots of cool stuff happening. You know, it's just getting going here on the season. We're gonna have some very exciting stuff coming here to the channel. If you're into the animatronics, might have some world premiere exclusive details on some new 2025 animatronic releases that might be coming here to the channel. Definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. And interviews. We got a lot of exciting conversations that we're going to be sharing with you guys. And like I said at the top, we're going to be talking a lot about our Halloween Film Festival and other events happening here locally. If you can't be here for it, well, obviously we're going to be bringing you unprecedented coverage. But any of you that are out here on the East Coast and can make it, definitely save those dates. First weekend in October, and come hang out with us on Halloween Island for our Halloween International Film Festival. As always, tag us on your Triple M social posts, and we'll repost them, we'll share them. The algorithms make it kind of harder. I used to be able to just look on the hashtag on Instagram, and I could look at them in order and everything. They don't let me do that now for some reason. It's kind of annoying. So, but if you tag us, I'll see them and I can repost and share that way. And who knows, you might get featured right here on the live show as well. This has been awesome. As always, you guys kick ass. Give us your comments on the Michael Myers and the Halloween 3 references in the TV episodes. I want to hear from you. And drop some other topics that you might want to see discussed here, some other roundups similar to that, because I got some other ideas. Like I said, music is probably going to be the next one, a roundup of some of our favorite Michael Myers songs and song references, because there's a whole subcategory. You know, there's songs that have referenced Michael Myers in Silver Shamrock or whatever, and then there's other songs that are specifically about Michael Myers in Silver Shamrock or whatever. So lots of ways to break this down and to do more of the discussion. So we're going to do a lot of that. Thanks again to all of you for hanging out. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you not forgetting where we live when we're off for like 5 weeks and don't do a live stream or anything like that. But we are keeping the pre-recorded content coming. And like I said, a lot of exciting stuff, including some premieres coming there. Channel members get early access to all of that and lots of other cool perks, and it's only $5 a month. So think about that. It helps support us and goes a long way. And all of you guys just being here and participating, that goes a long way in supporting us as well, and maybe helping me keep a little bit of my sanity in this crazy world as well, because it has been awesome, and you guys are awesome. So thank you once again, all of you. Until the next one, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all for hanging out and watching and for participating in the conversation. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Good night, Haddonfield.